is I want to get a sense of your general feelings of what it felt like for you. What did it feel like for you to express emotions through art? So that's the first question on the table. What did it feel like for you to express your emotions through art? Anybody have any feelings on that?
For like the first one, thinking back to a happy and pleasant time, it was very, just very stimulating, because it got me to think about, okay, let me think back to memories that I don't think about too often, but there's also quite a few memories, right? So I think it was very stimulating in that respect, but also the second image where we had to think back to a much darker time, which was also brought upon a multitude of different emotions and thoughts and images in my head that I conveyed personally in the image, the coloring.
Great, thank you.
Just expressing myself more freely, more deeply, into giving myself permission to really think about this trauma. It's been almost 20 years ago, and I just kind of put it in the back of my mind, don't think about it. The share, I guess, makes sense. My mother was killed in a car accident. And so that's been the trauma that just kind of, it's always there. Now with holidays, it just, part of me didn't want to come tonight again. Just because, but it was the experience. I don't know, it was one word that stuck out with me was resentful, I guess, in the survey. And I think part of it, I resent myself because I know I'm not the same person that I was before the accident. So it's making me realize that the last 20 years, my kids have not seen the person that I once was. And so I'm realizing that I need to maybe address this a little more. From what the art itself, maybe it was the abstract picture, it just wildly connected with, I don't know if I saw something that was supposed to be there, or it was just really random coincidence on the picture that I got, but it gave me that time to not put those thoughts in the back of my mind, to just say, I'm gonna think about this for a few minutes. Again, again, and kind of make a few more steps than I did the other day.
Oh, I don't want to cry.
It's okay, Margaret, it's okay.
Because of everything that, oh God.
It's okay.
Because everything that we went through with my mom was schizophrenic, so that I needed to be orderly and everything to be in the box. I couldn't get out because it was dangerous if I did. So I need to stay in the lines, coloring, everything. Everything needs to be orderly.
The sad question, I guess things that I didn't realize had impacted me as deeply as they did, or, you know, just kind of made me see different perspectives of, like when I was experiencing trauma. You know, like at my grandmother's funeral, I didn't think I would cry because I'm not one to cry about death. I don't feel like it's a sad thing. But all of a sudden, it was just like, you know, just like the typical, you know, pouring tears and everything, just in anguish, crying, you know, not because of her passing, but the separation from the rest of my family and everything. And she was the one that kind of like held everything together.
Thank you. That's okay. You're among friends. We're here among friends. Thank you both.
Yeah, I teach at a university, and so I come across a multitude of students, different ages, different races, different ethnicities, different genders, and I build this rapport with my students, right? I usually have, this is a little off topic, but I usually have an introduction activity at the beginning of the semester where they have the opportunity to just tell me about themselves. And so often they tell me, you know, they're prior military, they're veterans, they're single parents, they're returning to college for the first time in 20 years. And so as I get to know them throughout the semester, I also, I hear struggles that they're encountering, whether it's financial struggles, well-being, especially during these unique times. So many of them that are willing to share that information with me. So I think this would help anyone and everyone, and just hearing the experiences of others in this room just shows me that I'm not the only one that comes from moments that I don't want to reflect on, but tonight has helped me kind of reflect on those moments, especially when it comes with especially regarding family and moments that I don't like to think about, but it's comforting to hear that I'm not the only one, I'm not alone, that we can't pick and choose our family, right? And so this has been very helpful.
Do you think if we did this activity in a corporate setting, right? If we went to USAA, right, everybody, or Valero, and sat in a corporate room with people who have corporate jobs day in, day out, and you be honest, so we want to hear what you really think, right? Do you think a group of corporate folk who work behind computer terminals and are, you know, working intensely to meet objectives and deadlines, would they, and I see you smiling with the green shirt, so you must work at USAA.
I used to.
You used to, all right. So from those experiences, or anyone else, would a corporate audience benefit from this? Would they get it? What's your thought? Yeah.
It could be used for children, it could be used for adults, but it could also be used for people who are in the work call centers who are getting yelled at constantly, because that is very stressful and can actually really mess up their head, because it kind of internalize it, because it can't show that they're hurting in their call center kind of jobs. They have to keep it in, and then when they get home, they want to just sleep it off. But it's very universal to the point where it could be used for anybody. It could be used for the elderly, it could be used for children, it could be used for anybody with depression or any other psychological or mental issues, because it'll allow them to be able to express themselves without actually having to open up, because they feel like they can't say anything. They feel like they'll be ridiculed if they were to tell them exactly how they feel and be judged like, oh, you're just being lazy, or oh, you're just being too sensitive. This allows them to actually wordlessly express themselves without being treated like a target.
Thank you. Anybody else?
In my opinion, I would think that if you tailored it to their job perspective, so for example, right, if we're using HR as an example, HR individuals think differently than IT people think. IT people probably go hand in hand with this, because very creative individuals, you know, compared to HR, it's very punctual and very like neat and tidy and precise about things, right? So that's where I would say, in my opinion, right, I don't know, but I would say in my opinion that based off of that knowledge that I have, that you would want to tailor it to how whatever would go deep with them, right?
I'm not one to like fully express my emotions through words. It's very hard. And so when, you know, he had us think about a time to, you know, thinking about sadness, actually thinking about the whole year, actually, it's definitely been a tough year for everybody. I had to think about generally like what I felt in the third question. And it's been tough. So I couldn't really, like, I can never explain it, because I like lose my train of thought all the time, but drawing it kind of helped a little bit. It's like a heart that's still full but still broken because of how like tough everything is. Sorry. But yes, I feel like for someone like myself who has been with art since like day one, not necessarily drawing, but music or dancing, you know, any type of art, definitely brings in like the inner child of someone. And so I really think that, especially someone who can't communicate so well, this definitely helps you really think of your subconscious thoughts and bring it out. Whether it's through making an image in the abstract, or you know, seeing an image in the abstract, or just even using colors as a form of feelings, you know, just something like that. So I think it can definitely help out everybody.
Like, okay, and when you gave us permission, you know, you don't have to have any talent, it made me feel better. And so when I answered the first round, I wasn't nervous, wasn't angry, wasn't any of that. And I was just thinking, well, this is interesting, let's see what happens. And I was kind of inside the lines, outside the lines. Then when you answered the second questions, we answered the second questions, I was a little angry, and I was a little on edge and nervous. And so that was interesting, because I've never thought that art would really do much for me, because I'm not good at it, and I shy away from it because it does make me nervous. And I mostly deal with things like running, I jog, and I do exercising kind of stuff to deal with issues, or, you know, whatever anger I have and stuff. And so I always never thought that art would help me, or colors. I get nervous about trying to mix colors, what looks good. And like when we opened the thing, she goes, "Oh, this is exciting." I go, "No, it's not." I go, "This makes me nervous." So, but I think it did help, you know, it did reach me in a certain point. So even people that get anxiety over art, I think it can reach.
So what that did for me, and what like these exercises do with color or whatever, is that it gives you a visual, whether it's a picture or it's words, that you can see your life on paper. And I mean, this is just my experience. So when you can see your life, or a situation, or a piece of your life on paper, it gives it validity. It makes it real. And you can, and I'm going to use the word freeing again, that it frees you to say, look at this, this is my story. And I may not be able to articulate that in words, but I can on paper. And then to see it, you acknowledge that it's your own. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
So that's what I experienced in my own life. And so I was excited to do something like this.